and it's the next morning. We're gonna go meet the guy with the wheels real quick. This will be the last you see of the torque thrust. Probably about a 20-minute drive, and next time we see you, we'll have some new wheels. And here we are. We got some big boy wheels. These are the Weld RTS series S71s. So the rear wheels are an 18 by 11 with a 7.7 inch backspace, and they are called a medium pad. The fronts are an 18 by 10 with a 7.1 inch backspace, and they're called a high pad. So these should fit on the car really good. This is kind of an F-body fitment. I think after doing a little bit of research on what 18-inch RTS setup fits on a wide body C6, I think they're going to fit this car too. So more to come on that. Maybe not 100% perfect, but I think it's a coincidence that they are going to work on this car too. So I'll fit these up on it sooner or later, probably in this video. But for now, I just got back from the trip and I really want to fit them up on the Trans Am and see how it looks while I got some daylight left. So I'll throw these on real quick. God. It looks so much better. This is my first time seeing it, so this is all like legit. That took 20 years off the car. Yeah, dude. It looks killer. It looks so much better with these tires on it. These wheels are the best looking wheel on an F-body, anything, I don't care. They look awesome. And if I'm lucky enough, it's gonna fit on the C6. So I'm gonna go for a quick ride, see how it feels, and I'll report back here when we're out, parked somewhere you can get a better look at it. All right, so I got a couple of miles on the car. The fronts being a little bit wider do feel a little bit different. Like maybe the steering feels a little bit floaty, might be a good way to put it, but the archer blades feel pretty good. The tires howl a little bit out back, but pretty good. Sorry for that little bit of glare on the lens that came out of the car, and it's super humid out, but I have to realign the rear end a little bit. It's too soft on this side, but other than that, the car looks so killer right now. Let me know what you think. 18-inch welds, they look awesome. Drives great, no rubbing, nothing like that, and with all the ceramic coating on it, it just kind of glows now. That was a really big facelift for the car that it desperately needed. I didn't realize like how bad, but it looks really good now. So I'm gonna head back home, clean them up a little bit, put some tire shine on them. More importantly, hop into the air conditioning in the car and keep enjoying it. I gotta be honest right now, when I get outside look at it, I legitimately geek out over these wheels. They're not cheap, right? So if you know what they cost, you know. I don't need to go over it. You can look it up yourself. Look up what 18-inch welds cost a piece. I bought these used, and honestly, I saved a bunch of money on them. They're still not cheap, but Troy was super good to work with, so shout out to Troy. Thanks, man. It was nice meeting you, and hopefully next year we can go to the Shades of the Past car show and actually hang out and have a beer or whatever. So the guy that I bought these from actually took my wheels and tires on trade too, so that actually helped offset the cost a little bit more. It was kind of a bad time for me to buy these wheels. I had been shopping for them, but it just ended up being a deal that I couldn't pass up because it wouldn't come around like that ever again for me. So I ended up pulling the trigger on them. I went on a long road trip and worked out good. So I'll head back home and wrap up today's video. Quick note, for those of you that are wondering how the rubbing situation is, I haven't had any problems yet. They 100% clear left and right. which is really good news because, you know, with the wheel and tire combo this big, that's something that you might run into, but I don't have any spacers, I don't have anything. There's no rubbing front or back. My fenders are rolled in the back, but I don't think you'd need to, honestly, even with how my suspension is. So I'm hyped, this is awesome. So I did say that I was going home. I'm not. It's one of those drives where you just don't want to get out of the car. Like, honestly, this is probably one of the, like, #1 for sure out of any mod I've done to this car or any other car. A good fitting set of wheels it blew me away how much better it looks. I really didn't think it would change how the car looks to me that much, but I totally fell in love with the car all over again. You know, it's looked the same pretty much since I bought it a couple years ago, and these wheels on it, night and day better. I talked about going with the Weld S77s, and in all honesty, I'm glad I didn't. So, thinking about getting these Weld wheels, don't think about it twice. In person, when you look at the car, when it's sitting just right like this car does on its Summit Racing lowering springs, it just looks perfect. It's the perfect wheel and tire setup for an F-body, in my opinion. So, I'm gonna go put a couple more miles on the car. I'm gonna enjoy the sunset, and I guess I'll see you guys back at the garage. Alright, so I'm back in the garage, and I could not be more hyped on these wheels. They look killer. It's probably the perfect fitment for one of these cars. As you saw earlier, no rubbing issues in the front. It's a 295 wide tire on an 18x10 wheel. The front tire size is a 295/30/18 R888, and the rears, I believe, are a 315/30. The rears are a 315/30/18 R888. These are really wide, and they do fit in here really good. I'm not having any problems with the car like bottoming out or anything as far as like the clearance here goes. Inside, into where the inner wheel well is, it's really tight. It's pretty tight, so I'm actually gonna have to realign the rear end a little bit. It's favoring the passenger side a little bit, and it's bringing the driver's side wheel in a little bit too far. It's more noticeable with these new wheels and tires, so I'm gonna have to adjust my pan hard rod and recenter the rear end, but otherwise, no issues at all. I'm super happy with it. There's not much else to go over in this video. This was a little bit more of a spendy one, but it's something I've wanted to do forever. This car was starting to fall out of favor with me. With the Z06 being a little bit more of an exciting vehicle to drive, I mean, obviously it's got like 200 more horsepower, weighs like 400 pounds less. This has now become the show pony of the channel, and I love it. So, hope you guys like the wheels. There's a lot of options out there. You can get Cosmos racing wheels. They're very similar. It's hard to beat a 17 or 18-inch 5-spoke Weld on an F-body, or any car for that matter. So maybe in a future video, I'll see if these will actually fit on the Corvette. Brakes are a ton bigger, but I think they might actually fit. The way that they spec out wheels for this car is very similar if you get an 18 for this car. So, all right, so I do have one more thing I really wanted to try out, and it is putting the front and rear runners on the Corvette. Now, I thought that it was going to work out to the degree that I could put the front and rear onto the car, but it turns out that only the fronts actually fit, and they fit perfect. So, F-body fitment that's spec'd out on these does in fact fit a Corvette just about perfect. Here's the brakes, no rubbing, no nothing. Obviously I got some brake dust going on inside of the wheels, but that's no big deal. Otherwise, what do you guys think? All black wheels on the car, different front runners. It's kind of hot boy wheels, I guess you could say, is a good way to put it. But otherwise, I'm kind of digging the look of it. Lighting's a little harsh on that side. This is a little bit better what it's like in person. A little bit darker, not quite as harsh. Car sounding good. So that's about do for today's video. Give it a thumbs up. Come back for some more content. If you want previews of stuff like this where you don't get these dumb clickbait thumbnails that'll drive you nuts, I hate them too, but that's part of the nature of YouTube. Definitely check out my Instagram so you get a little bit of a sneak peek of this stuff. I'm not trying to keep it a big secret, but it is good for the YouTube channel to do it this way. So check out Greenlight Filming on Instagram.